answer for all NDC members because I get that all the time.
So, but Francis, the reality is that God has given you life.
That's
right?
true. Yes.
But you are unable to buy your dollar as you want to if you are a trader. And that is not the work of God. It's the work of Baomia.
Okay.
You are unable to, today I'm told that utility tariffs have gone up. That's not the work of God. It's the work of Baomia. So God has been kind. Just that we are unable to live our life the way we should live it because we have bad governance in the country. So it's not just a default answer. It's just the reality.
All right. We did see the memo sent by the Electoral Commission to its director officers and regional directors indicating that the vote transfer exercise should happen without party agents present because of the incidents that have happened, the violence that has been occasioned in some of the centers where the transfer exercise was going on. We are also aware that there was an IPAC meeting yesterday relative to this matter. What was the outcome, and what is the position of the NDC on this matter?
Yeah, Francis, good morning to you and your cherished listeners. And I'll commend you for the good work. Yesterday, I monitored you when you had an extensive discussion with our communication officer for what?
L2 Senior East, yes.
To Senior East, who gave you the true picture, different from what is happening outside. And our surprise, and he made mention of it, is why the MPP secretary, who was also present, will not be picked up by the police, but just the NDC. That's another question that we need to find answers to. Unfortunately, I entered a no-service area where I couldn't monitor you to the end to find out whether you had a discussion with any of the MPP guys coming to confirm or deny it. But back to the subject, Francis, before the end of the registration itself, which ended on the 28th, there was already a release preventing agents from monitoring the transfer exercise. I was on monitoring when these issues came up. So I confronted the district directors anywhere I went, and that directive was communicated to the agents. So I go to the district directors and want to find out. Then they tell you that we can't answer. Can you find your answer from the top? So what? It's a directive that you are carrying on the ground. And they don't give you reasons why it should happen so. The registration exercise is not just for the first-time voters. It has three phases. The first phase is the registration of first-time voters. It continues with the transfer of votes. Then the proxy and replacement of cards also follows. The EC is not there doing work for itself. The EC is working for political parties. Unfortunately, if today Ghana should experience a takeover by anybody, whether the military, whether the police, whether a civilian taking this country up, there wouldn't be any electoral commission. So sometimes when I sit and monitor the electoral commission, the way they behave, and make it look as if they are doing Mother Ghana some service, and that they have what it takes to determine what goes on as far as their activities are concerned. I said, do they really know what their core duties and mandates are? If there's no democracy in this country, Jemensa will not be paid. Osman Asare will not have the life to be a deputy EC boss. And so whatever they do should be accepted by the political parties, and that will make their work effective or complete. Why would you allow agents to monitor the registration and say that we will not allow you to monitor the transfers? It doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? It doesn't make sense in the first place because the political parties are to confirm whether the figures put out there in the register by the Electoral Commission is exactly what they have. The first week of the exercise, the EC came out with an arithmetic error. The EC, with all their brains, lawyers, doctors, whatever, cannot do simple addition and subtraction. But for the vigilance of political parties, and at this point I'm talking about the NDC, to come out to tell the EC that the figures you have put out doesn't add up. Then they came to correct it. The second phase, same happened. They corrected it. So if the political parties were not present and doing their work as they are supposed to do, putting the checks and balances, then we would have all gone with the figures of the Electoral Commission and just accepted as that. That is the reason why transfers, which will add up to the numbers that are registered in the constituency to make a complete list, is very important. That we are supposed to monitor it and know that, well, we have 3,000 registered voters in this particular constituency. But on election day, these people, 20 of them, 5 came the first day, 2 came the second day. On the third day, another 4 came. Through to the 7th day, we have 20 people who have decided that they will register, they will vote in this particular constituency. Then we know, we are certain that yes, these figures are what we are expecting on the election day to cast their vote. You say we shouldn't monitor. And how are we able to challenge you when you come out with some figures that we believe that is not the case? And so I don't see why the Electoral Commission, and on the basis of saying that because of some disturbances started from the day of registration. Why didn't the EC sack political party agents and say that because you are disturbed and sit somewhere, I will do the registration and I will give you the figures? They were able to accommodate party agents for 3 weeks, and they say they can't accommodate them anymore for 1 week. And it's not that they are basing their decision on the disturbances that happened. Skeleton of them, the Kaswa and the Winneba. I mean, in some areas, majority of them, the exercise is moving on smoothly. I'm not sure you are picking signals all over that there are disturbances. I've been monitoring the exercise in Ashanti region all this while. And I've not seen or heard anywhere that there are gunshots or cutlass wounds or whatever. Of course, party agents at certain points will prevent some people who they suspect do not have what it takes to transfer their votes. But it's just a judge or it's just a way of challenging. But before even the start of the transfer, the Electoral Commission had issued a statement to their district officers to tell agents that your work has ended. You are no more needed at this point. So leave us to do our work. How is the party able to monitor this exercise? So right from the go, the EC had intention that, well, probably the NDC was able to monitor our work so well, and we couldn't do what we intended to do for the MPP. And so let's use the transfer exercise and just get some numbers in there. That is exactly why the EC will do this. Apart from that, I don't get it. I cannot even comprehend what they are talking
Okay,
about. So
but
we, the NDC, have decided and say that defile the orders. The EC has no right to stop anybody from monitoring the exercise. So we have told our agents that whatever decision the EC has taken, we don't agree with it. The MPP can agree and go and sit down. Yes, they can be comfortable with the dealings of the Electoral Commission, but we, the NDC, are not comfortable, and we are telling our agents that they should be there, make sure they monitor the exercise.
At the IPAC meeting yesterday, was there any explanation or reasoning given for why the EC had taken that course of action to have party agents absent because of what had happened at Kaswa and Winneba?
No, apart from what you just said, there's no other any concrete, reliable, straightforward reason for the EC saying that we shouldn't. Okay, so let's even assume that that's the decision. Why won't it be related to the hotspots, the areas you see? For instance, in Kaswa, if you are saying that the decision is based on what happened in Kaswa, it didn't happen in Kwadaso constituency where I vote. It never happened in any of the constituencies in Ashanti region where I have monitored up till yesterday and still monitoring. Why should disturbances in Kaswa be extended to Kwadaso, be extended to Greater Accra, be extended to Votari? Why? It doesn't make sense. So the EC was struggling to convince us why there shouldn't be agents. But it didn't make sense to us as a political party. And I've seen some release from some election watchers. And I've seen the PNC youth organizer and the GCPP youth organizer disagreeing with the Electoral Commission, meaning that it's not only the NDC as a political party, probably the only political party that sees no reason why there should be agents is the MPP. Any other political party who will support the activity is supporting it because they don't have what it takes, probably do not even have agents at all to want to send there. And so that will be a plus for them to just ease their pressure. And of course, you can understand, they have no chance of winning any election. So they don't lose when their agents don't go there. But we as an NDC that is forming the next government, we as an NDC that is ruling the country in the next government, will not sit down and say that we trust the EC and that the EC says that there's a disturbance in Kaswa, and for that matter, no agent should monitor the registration. How are we able to do that? I can sit here and monitor you, monitor your show through Facebook, but I don't even have a radio by me. If I have my phone, I monitor you. I watch you on Facebook. I do that every day. Maybe I should be one of your listeners that needs an award because I don't miss your show every morning.
Okay.
But the Electoral Commission cannot in any way tell me to monitor their exercise from the corner of my house. They don't have a system where whatever they are doing can be watched live, transmitted, moving. Then I can sit down and say that, okay, I watched Yamin go in there, go and transfer. He satisfied all the requirements and was given the green light to vote in there. So I take it and say, oh, one person has moved, another person came in, they sacked him. I don't have that. So how would I be able to monitor what you are going on, what you are doing in that area, and say that, yes, the figures you have brought are figures that I should be comfortable with? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Again, the Electoral Commission is supposed to register people, transfer people. Anywhere there is registration, it's a security zone. And anywhere classified as a security zone is manned by the security agents. What is the EC's connection, dealings with the security agencies as far as making sure there is peace and order at the coalition center? So if you think that people are abusing their distance, just give the police to give you adequate security. Not to say that agents who are supposed to be monitoring the exercise and getting information to their party headquarters, confident that it is 3 people that are going to vote on the same day because of A, B, and C. You say that everybody should go just because there is disturbance. Is that not going to create more chaos? When your agent is not there and the people are coming, what happens before they get to the registration center? And can you control that? At least if for nothing at all, agents judge or agents sit down, they look at things, they agree and disagree. It is far better than saying that there shouldn't be anybody there. What if anybody is also prevented from coming there to come and transfer their votes? Especially where MPP people will bus people from different constituencies to just come in there and come and transfer their votes. I don't understand and I don't get it. I have been asking the Electoral Commission district officers anywhere I went that, look, you get to places where the MPP are preventing people on tribal basis, on residential basis, not to register. They say that, well, this person has not lived in this constituency for this number of days, and so we cannot register that person. They say that this person is not from this area, cannot, even though the person is staying in there with all evidence that the person is working there. But you can bring somebody who is not either staying there, doesn't even come from there, doesn't have any dealings within that constituency, to bring and say they should come and transfer. And the Electoral Commission is agreeing to that, when the same Electoral Commission is preventing people on the basis that they don't qualify because they have not stayed a number of days within this constituency. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And so the only time you can challenge this anomaly is when your agent is there, when your agent knows that this person they are bringing, the address is quoting, cannot be found in the constituency. The person, it doesn't relate anywhere here. It doesn't come from anywhere within the constituency. And so we can't agree. And that everybody agrees on that, and the person is prevented. Now you say that we should come. Is the EC's duty to prevent somebody from registering? No. It is the parties that are supposed to challenge, not the Electoral Commission. And at this point, how would anybody be challenging the eligibility of somebody that is coming to transfer to vote in that particular place when the EC has no right to do that? Is the EC saying that they are now going to open up and that anybody that comes, whether you are qualified or you are not qualified, since there's nobody to check whether you are qualified or you are not qualified, to transfer the person to that place? Or is the EC now assuming the duties of the party agents during the transfer? It doesn't make sense.
So for the period of the vote transfer exercise, you're saying that you defy this directive and go?
We have already sent that signal to our people.
Okay. Now, in the unlikely event that there are disagreements relative to the transfers that are being done, how would you as a party address it to ensure that it is done peacefully and there is no rancor?
No, how can we do that when the agents are not present?
You have already said you are defined, you are there. So when you are there and you realize that there is a mishap, how would you ensure that it does not degenerate into rancor? That would have been the base for you. The EC will have said stay away.
No, we are not going there to create any confusion. We are going there to monitor at the end how many people got transferred to be added onto the register. As we speak now, we have the complete register. Before our agents were sent to the registration centers, we had already given the constituencies the election, the register for the constituency. as far as 2023, the District Assembly elections. We already have the figures. So at the end of registration, constituencies that registered 4,000 means that you are adding 4,000 to the existing numbers that we have. We know that. Now, what is left to complete the register, awaiting the EC's final register display for us to be able to challenge or agree, for us to know that at this point, the EC, through its remedial classes, has been able to do away with the arithmetic errors, and that 1 plus 1 becomes 2, not 3 as before. We are okay. But if we don't know how many people, we are not there to know how many people we are transferring today, how are we able to challenge when the EC comes out with any figure? So we are not going there to create any confusion. We are there to monitor that 2 people registered today, 3 people registered today. Of course, as it stays now, the NPP have agreed to the EC's directive that they will not send agents there. The only time there's some confusion is between the political parties. So 2 people fight. You've never seen one person fighting before. And so since the MPP will not be around, I'm not sure there's going to be any rancor. It's going to be peace all over. But we are saying that our agents were contracted to monitor the exercise from the start of work to the final day on the 14th of June. And so their contractual agreement still runs, and they are supposed to do up to 14th. And that is what they are there to do.
Aside this matter, for you as national organizer of the NDC, and with the process that has gone on so far with the registration, are there other concerns you have, or besides this, everything is good?
Francis, we have gone past that stage now. And if you've been monitoring the NDC, at the end of the first week exercise, there was a press a press statement outlining whatever has gone on. The second week, this same. So it means that at every step, we put out our findings. We have gone past the stage of registration. Whatever the EC did, as far as our monitoring was concerned, the figures that registered are the figures that we have, and the same figures that the Electoral Commission is putting out at the end of every registration exercise. What is left now is the transfers to also go on, and that will become comfortable. What is left now is for persons who want to do proxy voting. What is left now is for persons who are to replace their lost ID card. And that is what we are monitoring. At the end of the entire exercise, the NDC will come out with its findings. And if there are any anomalies, we'll point out there. But as far as we are concerned now, we've gone past the stage of registration. There's no more registration. Our figures are intact. Our election director has all the data from day 1 to the last day. What we are concentrating now is the transfers and the replacement of cards and the proxies before we can finally conclude and be able to come out and say that it was a satisfactory exercise by the Electoral Commission or whatever. But we are determined to win the election. Let me say it clearly, that if the Electoral Commission likes it, it should tell Ghanaians that we are going to vote with Madam Rebecca Akufo-Addo's birth certificate. And we are going to find means of getting the birth certificate to every Ghanaian who is willing to vote against the MPP in the next election. So they can go ahead and want to do anything. We are monitoring the exercise, and we'll make sure that whatever is being done by the Electoral Commission is what the law requires. If it is not, we will resist it. We are going to do that with the last fiber of our being.
All right.
That one we can assure you.
Okay. Since I am speaking to you with knowledge that you are in the Ashanti region, I've got to ask you this as well. In this election, typically the dynamics always point to NDC needing more than 30% of the votes in the Ashanti region to be able to secure victory. Per the metrics and what you see, is that target realistic?
Target
of 30% of the votes from the region.
Everything in this world is possible if you work towards it. And I've been in Ashanti region. I've been a parliamentary candidate. I've been a regional secretary. I remember as a regional secretary, I gave out targets. I still remember when I gave a figure of 600,000 votes in 2012. At the end of the exercise, we had 611,000 for the NDC in Ashanti region, which tells you that I understand the dynamics of Ashanti region. The people of Ashanti region base their elections, one, on developmental projects, two, on the candidates that are vying for the elections. I am confident and know very well that the plans we are putting in place, the kind of campaign messages we are sending across, the comparison of the 8-year MPP administration to the 4-year John Mahama administration is clear in Ashanti region. If we are able on election day to ensure that the MPP are unable to do what they did in 2020 and 2016, I can confidently tell you that hitting 30+% is achievable. And that is what we are working on. I can't sit on your radio and tell you what is being done. But what I know is that the people of Ashanti region are ready to give us 30% or more. We as the NDC are putting measures and plans in place to ensure that the 30% they put in the box is counted for John Mahama and the NDC to secure victory. That one I can assure you.
And how many parliamentary seats are you targeting in this election in the Ashanti region?
Between 7 and 10 should be a realistic number for the NDC in the 2020.
Between 7 and 10?
Sure.
How many do you have now?
4.
And you are seeking to get 3 or 6 more?
Sure.
Which ones?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you. But I can give you the figures.
Okay, give me the figures.
That it's 7 to 10.
Are you not being over ambitious? I'm looking at the numbers and the history here. 4 seats in 96. 2, yeah. Okay, yes. 2 in 2000. 3 in 2004. 3 2008. 4 2012. 4 2016. No, 3 2016. 4 2020. So how do you jump from an average of 3 seats to targeting 7 and 10?
It has always been possible to win more than 4 seats in Ashanti region. We have tried getting to that feat. Unfortunately, we are unable to do that. We are doing that in 2024.
Are you targeting Ejuso?
Brothers, I'm sure you want to get words from me. But you won't get it.
Why?
But after the elections, I'm sure we are going to be talking about how did you win this seat. Then I'll tell you. But it stands now. The seats that we are targeting is our secret. We are working towards that. And we know that we will achieve it. We know the NDC is not going to form the next government with 4 seats from Ashanti region. We are entering the next government with more than 4 seats. And I'm telling you that a target of 7 to 10 is realistic. And that is what we are working
Would you be surprised if you lose the 4 seats you already have?
No, we are not. We are not. Because the 4 seats we are talking about are seats that the people know what the young people have come to do. I'll be surprised if the people of New Adibiasi will vote the MPP into office, knowing very well that their candidate was once an MP and supervised the halt of the ultra-modern sports complex that was started by the NDC, John Mahama's administration. Today, it's become a grazing grounds for cows in the constituency. The people know that if they will see a sports complex spring up in their constituency, it is only when the NDC is in government. I'll be very much surprised that the people will want to say that we are giving that MP another chance to come in there and continue to give that project to the mercy of the bush. It's not possible. I don't see how the MPP will be able to win the Aswansi seat, knowing very well that development in Aswansi is always up when the NDC is in government. When all MPs in Ashanti region were accusing the NDC for directing all developmental projects to the Sokoremampong district, that was an insult to them. When they came to power, development in that area has stalled. They say that the people will say that they want to change government and give a government that has come to stall development in that area to an MPP. I don't see that. I don't see the NDC losing any of our seats.
I see.
But I see the MPP losing some more seats.
You can mention your 4, but you can't mention the ones that you are going to annex.
No, when I do that, it means that I am just exposing and telling the MPP that, well, put strategies together, because when you are in the house, as I call you and I said that today, I'm coming to rob your house. I'm sure you put security in place.
But this is not robbery. This is an election.
No, it's also the same thing. We are going to target their seats. We know why we are targeting those seats. We know the vulnerability rate of that seat to the MPP.
Will it be the seats that have a lot of settlers?
No, any seat is possible.
Oh, Yamin. All right. Mr. Yamin, I thank you very much for your time and for joining us this morning.
You're welcome, my brother.
Have a good day. That's the national organizer of the National Democratic Congress, Joseph Yamin, there speaking to us this morning on the decision to defy the EC's directive in having their party agents monitor the vote transfer exercise, and also exploring the Ashanti politics and the seats and the targets for the NDC in the region. Your views and comments are welcome. WhatsApp line is 0552880216. Alternatively, you can tweet at us at *1035 and the hashtag is Morningstar. Yesterday, after the IPAC meeting, the former chairman of the MPP, Peter McMahon, had this to say relative to the outcome and the matter of the vote transfer and party agents being present.
Party agents to observe